Visions blacker than coal, but can't deny my soul. The nation's playing their part because they fit the role. Heaven sent, man, I'm lit to stand on my tippy toes. Christ return, you in danger, my name ain't Mr. Cole. Cause I don't know no limit. The silk on his garment, a shock it, Romeo P. Miller. A doctrine doctor got the pill, I see my folks need healing. Like Dragon Balls, my people scatter. Goku meets Krillin, devoid of hope, but doper than dope. Frankincense to smoke, precept on precept. Remember they hung us on a rope. Prophecy, odyssey, the scriptures paint 1,000 pictures. Burned in the furnace, that's perfect. A pocket for they hit us. But take a look at the ground. The true Jerusalem, the Psalms of David. Look at the sound. Gifted lyrics wrapped in blue ribbon. Fringes swing, I'm on my mic Bibbins. Only difference, repentance. The voice the men feeling.
Yeah, blacker to the ground, that's the true essence of beauty. Check my pedigree, you learn we the best to do it. Melanin shining, essence of the first man. From the dust of the land, created with the thrust of his hand. He pulled greatness from the soil, smooth like oil. He pulled greatness from the soil, smooth like oil. And I'm gonna take my throne, and I'm gonna sing my song. Trials and tribulations, and no matter what we face with, and we gon' stand up strong. Got melanin, gotta shining all day long. It don't matter if they hatin', because Israel we gon' make it. Look me in my eyes and you'll see that I'm something greater. Only going up from here like an escalator. A chosen people made in the image of the Savior. Royalty before the ships passed the equator. Read through the pages in Israel, the main topic. Black and common, no pale face. Boy, stop it. Crown me king, make your spirit lead like King Solomon. Queen Sheba had to take a breather, melanin pop. Yeah, blacker to the ground, that's the true essence of beauty. Check my pedigree, you learn we the best to do it. Melanin shining, essence of the first man. From the dust of the land, created with the thrust of his hand. He pulled greatness from the soil, smooth like oil. He pulled greatness from the soil, smooth like oil.
Your ways I can't comprehend. When my face starts lacking, you reach down and take my hand. I keep my faith up. Devil out there lurking, build my spirit up. When I'm feeling down, open my Bible up. I keep my patience, I keep my patience. Don't leave me lonely, stay beside me. Have my back when I'm lacking, I'm fighting daily. This the price of the battle, I gotta endure to the end. A crown I'll achieve if I deny sin, yeah. Walk with me and hold my hand. Your ways I can't comprehend, cause a man's goings are the ways of the Lord. Give me light so my eyes can see. Take my hand, Lord, walk with me, cause a man's goings are the ways of the Lord.
I did not know this. You walk with me through crooked ways, yeah. Your word keeps me focused. That's when I have successful days, yeah. You said you gon' train up your child in the way I should go. I don't go left, I go right, I walk straight on the road, yeah. Unrepentant, call it strange. They got Caesar on their brains. They proceed to call me lame, even though they see the change. Heathens are dealing with side of me. Why you stay perched a nigga up out of me? I just want you to be proud of me. Walking with you, that's the way that it ought to be. Correction ain't coming, but not on the niggas so commonly I'm gonna listen. Cause there's no victory without the vision.
Hold my hand, your ways I can't comprehend, cause a man's goings are the ways of the Lord.
your mercy, Lord. Give me your mercy, Lord. You changing my path and making it straight. You made me your man, you're making it great. Consider my works to equal my faith. The kingdom of heaven, I know what it waits. I'm willing to battle whatever it takes. I'm willing to battle whatever it takes. When it boils down to my world crown, I don't play around. When I went astray in my sinful ways and you stayed around. How can I admit it? All of the sins I committed. How can be under the finished? That's why you be seeing me yelling the spirit no matter who.
Hey, check. Hey, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Welcome to another edition of History in the AM. Today you got Captain Emmanuel of IUIC Arkansas. And today we're going to continue in the sub-series that I got, The Kings of Israel, all right? Excuse me, I got some pain in my tongue. But anyway, the last class that we did, we went over Wicked Amon, or I don't know, I'm not sure how to properly pronounce the name. I know he don't got two M's like Ammon. He got one M. Alright. But Wicked Amon, an intro to Josiah. Amon was the son of Manasseh. Manasseh, even though his name was Manasseh, he was Judah, right? And he took the southern kingdom to the furthest extent of idolatry that they had ever went to. But like you read about in the Apocrypha, the prayer Manasseh, he repented at the end of his life, but he wasn't able to reverse all the evil that he established in Judah. So his son Amon took the throne and increased it, revamped it, right? And that only lasted a few years. Then he was conspired against and killed from within, from inside. And those conspirators were put to death. And his son, young Josiah, at 8 years old, was set up on the throne. So that's what we went over the last time. And it basically set the foundation to go into King Josiah. King Josiah is one of the more famous kings, very reputable and honorable, because he was one of the only righteous kings that the nation of Israel ever had. All right? So we're going to get into it today. We're going to touch back on some bases that we covered last time. And Lord's willing, y'all able to get edified, all right? But without further ado, let's open up with Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. Romans chapter 15 and verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. All right? That's why we go through the history, to comfort us and to build our faith in his truth, examining the works of our forefathers, good or bad, that we may learn from them, the do's and don'ts, and also just vivid examples of the precepts that we read. We see certain scriptures, whether it be laws or proverbs or etc., in play when we read the history of our forefathers, all right? So, today we dealing with Josiah. That's the only king we're going to be dealing with. He reigned from 641 to 609 BC. All right? And the name of the class today is Josiah's Reform. So we covered the intro to Josiah. We're going to touch back on it a little bit. But today we're going to cover Josiah's Reform. All right, so now let's go to Sirach chapter 49. Sirach chapter 49 and verse 1. Sirach 49 and verse 1. It says, the remembrance of Josiah is like the composition of the perfume that is made by the art of the apothecary. It is sweet as honey in all mouths, and as music at a banquet of wine. He behaved himself uprightly in the conversion of the people. and took away the abominations of iniquity. So what is this talking about? This is talking about his reform. His reform is basically like a what's a word? It's even simpler. Basically, his I guess a righteous renaissance, right? He converted the idolatrous state of Judah back to the Lord. All right, and that went through a very, very extensive, destructive, genocidal process. You understand? We gonna get into that. And that's one thing that that gotta be understood. In a lot of people, when you think about it, right? Because people be looking at us like we villains or we bad guys for going and blitzing churches, going out on the street, exalting our voices against the people, calling them out on their evil and stuff like that. And even in the body, right, leadership get talked about when people got to get judged, stood up, their sins brought out before the congregation, stuff like that. But understand, under the old covenant, before Christ, in order for leaders to set the nation of Israel in order from a state of disorder and disarray, it often took death, much death, and much destruction. You understand? We're not going to these churches and burning them down and with demolition and all of that. And we ain't killing nobody. You understand? We are not a group. We are not any acts of violence, none of that. But people look at us crazy for us, addressing and stuff with the scripture, rebuking with all authority. Y'all better be grateful. Because what our forefathers had to do to get the nation of Israel back in order and back to the Lord, the fourth time y'all finna learn today, it was very, very bloody. All right? But this is why Josiah was loved. And like many other figures in the Bible that people say that they love today, including Christ, right? Everybody say they love Jesus. Everybody say they love Moses. Everybody say they love David. All these people were very, very austere and very, very fierce when it came to the Lord. Now, Christ, of course, when he walked the earth, he came to die for the nation of Israel. But when he returned, y'all gonna see ain't none of our forefathers that had to resort to blood to cleanse the land. Ain't none of them touching the magnitude of blood that Jesus Christ gonna shed. So all of the, I'm telling you, Christianity got our people's minds messed up. And if the energy that y'all got towards us, surely you do not truly love the forefathers. And Christ had to blast the Pharisees about that. Y'all decorate their sepulchres and all of that and act like y'all honor them. Y'all the ones that killed them. All right? So, but anyway, he behaved himself uprightly in the conversion of the people and took away the abominations of iniquity. Verse 3, he directed his heart unto the Lord, and in the time of the ungodly, he established the worship of God. So, again, he was renowned for his reform that he was, able to pull off in the land of Judah. All right? So let's go to 2 Chronicles 34, verse 1. Like I said, we're going to touch back on what we touched on briefly last time in the intro to Josiah. 2 Chronicles chapter 34 and verse 1. It says Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 130 years. All right. So we went through all the precepts and stuff last time. All right. When a king is set up at 8 years old, he not just getting on the throne, calling shots, and really in charge. All right. You under tutors and governors and things of that nature. Now, the thing about it was at this time, remember, Manasseh was wicked as hell. He repented at the end of his life, right? But his son came right after him and just amplified all the evil that, was before him during the time of his father Manasseh. So the men at this time in the nation, and we gonna get into it, the leaders, right? They was all wicked and corrupt. They was evil. You understand? They was of that Baal worshiping way. So even though Josiah is known and reverenced as a righteous king, when he first came into power as an 8-year-old, he really wasn't in power yet. All right. So let's get real quick. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 1. Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 1. You good? Okay. Zephaniah 1 and 1. All right. Zephaniah 1 and 1. The word of the Lord which came unto Zephaniah, the son of Cushai, the son of Gedaliah, the son of Amariah, the son of Hezekiah, in the days of Josiah, the son of Amon, king of Judah. You good? All right. So Zephaniah prophesied, when you read his time frame that he prophesied, it was approximately from 641 BC to 628 BC. So Zephaniah prophesied in the early years of Josiah's reign, meaning before his reform. So in Zephaniah, the whole book of Zephaniah, majority of it is last days prophecy. And even the prophecies pertaining to that time were twofold for the last days, right? But there is a historical context. There is a historical side to some of the prophecies in the book of Zephaniah, right? So go to chapter 3, verse 1. And we went over it. We went over a lot of stuff last time, dealing with the chimerisms, the strange apparel, all of that. It bears its meanings today for these last days, but it also had relevance to what was going on then when he was addressing directly during that time, all right? But Zephaniah 3, verse 1.
Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 1. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted to the oppressing city.
Right. Woe to her that is filthy and polluted to the oppressing city. This is talking about at this time, Jerusalem. All right, go ahead.
Verse 2. She obeyed not the voice. She received not correction. She trusted not in the Lord. She drew not near to her God. Verse 4. Verse 3. Her princes within her are roaring lions.
Her princes within her, right? So the princes within Jerusalem, meaning the people of the royal household, the men that had places in government, right? Not sitting on the king's throne, but the other men within the king's castle that was calling shots. Those princes were roaring lions, meaning they preyed on the people. Go ahead.
Her judges are evening wolves.
And the judges, the men that were set up to judge the matters in the land, they were evening wolves. Read.
They gnaw not the bones till the marrow.
So they also preyed on the people. Read on.
Verse 4. Her prophets are light and treacherous persons.
The prophets, right, that were sent out, that were supposed to be prophesying, leading the people spiritually, they were light and treacherous persons. Go ahead.
Her priests have polluted the sanctuary.
And the priests, the sons of Levi, they were polluted the sanctuary. Go ahead.
They have done violence to the law.
All right. What's that? What am I here? My bad. Okay. So, in verses 3 and 4 in Zephaniah, you seeing four different positions of leadership being addressed, right? You got the princes, the judges, the prophets, and the priests. All of these four different positions made up the governing men of Israel, right? Of the kingdom of Judah at this time. And what Zephaniah is saying, they was all corrupt. They was all wicked. They all preyed on the people, oppressed the people. They finessed the Lord. They were jacking up the sacrifices. They was offering to idols in the temple, all of that. So that was the state of Judah during Josiah's early reign when he was still the age of a child. All right? When he was the age of a child, Jerusalem was still jacked up. Let's go to Jeremiah 1 and 1. And like I said earlier, y'all got to excuse me, man. I got a damn blister on my tongue. It's painful. It's hard to talk. Jeremiah 1 and 1.
Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 1. The words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests that were in Ananoth, in the land of Benjamin. Verse 2. To whom the word of the Lord came in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, king of Judah.
So the word of the Lord came first, meaning first came to Josiah during the days of, came first to Jeremiah during the days of Josiah. All right, go ahead.
In the 13th year of his reign.
In the 13th year of his reign. All right, and we gonna see where that correlate in the timeline of Josiah. But Jeremiah started prophesying in the 13th year of his reign. When you read who's who in the Bible and other historical references at this time, Jeremiah was a young man. He was a teenager when the word of the Lord first came unto him. All right? But go to chapter 3, verse 6.
Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 6.
Go ahead.
The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king.
So this is when the Lord first came unto Jeremiah. This is when he was initially prophesying as a young man. And this is when Josiah reform had first began. Right? So what we read in Zephaniah 3, that was the current estate. That was the estate of Judah at the time that Jeremiah was prophesying this. Go ahead.
Hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel hath done? She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot.
So in this verse, in verse 6, the Israel is northern kingdom. The Israel is referring to Ephraim, right? So this is Jeremiah prophesying to the southern kingdom. Hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel have done? Have you seen what the northern kingdom has done? Go ahead.
She is gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there hath played the harlot. Verse 7. And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me. But she returned not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it.
So after the northern kingdom went into all that idolatry, they never had a righteous king. The Lord still sent prophets to them, like Amos, like Hosea. But they still did not hearken to the Lord to change. And guess what? Judah witnessed that. They saw that. Go ahead.
And I saw, when for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I have put her away and given her a bill of divorce.
So the Lord cut off the northern kingdom. The Lord put the northern kingdom away. Assyria took them out of the land. And they were cut off that they were not a people. That's when they became Gentiles. Go ahead.
Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also.
So Judah saw this. They witnessed this. They witnessed Assyria take them away, and the Lord stopped dealing with them. But they did not put fear in Judah's heart. When you read about Manasseh, the same worship that plagued the northern kingdom of Israel, the worship of Baal that Ahab ushered in through his wife Jezebel, right? Manasseh brought that same worship and made it prominent throughout the southern kingdom. The same thing that got them destroyed and taken away was full-fledged implemented in Judah. Go ahead.
And it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredom.
Come on.
That she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks.
Right, committed adultery with stones and stocks. It ain't talking about dildos. It's talking about spiritual adultery, idolatry. We cheated on the Lord with images and things carved out of stones, meaning rocks, and stocks, meaning wood. Idols that was made with hands, we worship them instead of the Lord. Go ahead.
And yet for all this, her treacherous sister, Judah, hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but vainly, saith the Lord.
Right, meaning they still had the temple, they still had the sanctuary, they still had the Levitical priesthood, they still had prophets, but they were still in idolatry. They still had the groves and the high places. You understand? So they would not fully turn to the Lord. They was faking the funk. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel hath justified herself more than treacherous Judah.
So the Lord said northern kingdom is more justified than y'all, because northern kingdom was always one way. They were just wicked. They never pretended to be nothing else. You understand? They was always wicked as hell in no regard for the Lord. But Judah, y'all know better. Y'all did better. Y'all had better examples. Y'all had a Hezekiah. You understand? Y'all had righteous kings. And y'all backsliding. Y'all see the example of what happened to y'all brothers. And y'all still fall into the same error. Y'all are worse when you examine it than the northern kingdom, because y'all know better, right? So now go back to 2 Chronicles 34. So this was the state of Judah. Like I said, this was the intro to Josiah. This is what's going on when he was still of the age of a child, right, when he came into the throne. Judah was wicked as hell. Judah was, the men of Israel, the leaders, were corrupt, all right? So it was a long way to go in terms of any chance of Judah being reformed, all right? So read 2 Chronicles 34, verse 3.
2 Chronicles 34, verse 3. For in the 8th year of his reign.
So in the 8th year of his reign, so he took the throne when he was 8. So in the 8th year of his reign would be when he turned 16. Go ahead.
While he was yet young.
He was still young. He was still a boy. Read.
He began to seek after the God of David.
Hold that. Get Isaiah 34:16. So he began to seek after the God of David, his father. What does that mean?
Isaiah 34, verse 16.
Go ahead.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
So seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. So this is when Josiah began to read. He began to look into the records of his forefathers and study things that he was able to find concerning the law. All right? He began to seek after the Father. Go back to 2 Chronicles 34, verse 3.
2 Chronicles chapter 34 and verse 3. For in the 8th year of his reign, while he was yet young, he began to seek after the God of David his father.
Come on.
And in the 12th year, he began to purge Judah and Jerusalem from the high places and the groves and the carved images and the molten images.
So in the 12th year, now remember what we read about Jeremiah. Jeremiah began prophesying. The word of the Lord came unto Jeremiah in the 13th year of Josiah's reign. In the 12th year of his reign, when he was 20, that's when he began to purge the idols out of the land. So the Lord put that spirit on Josiah and Jeremiah at that specific time to begin the reformation of the southern kingdom, right? Of the kingdom of Judah. Now, in the 12th year, he began to purge Judah and Jerusalem from the high places. Real quick, keep reading. Watch this.
Verse 4. And they break down the altars of Baalim in his presence, and the images that were on high above them. He cut down, and the groves and the carved images and the molten images he brake in pieces and made dust of them, and strode it down upon the graves of them that had sacrificed unto them.
Okay, so all the idols that was built, that was set up, that was constructed, that was erected, he started to demolish them, tear them down into powder. All right? So all of this, now remember, it's time in this, right? When he was 16, he started reading. After 4 years of reading, gaining knowledge, of establishing a fear of the Lord, he began to take action when he was 20. So this began the demolition period. He starts to go throughout the land and tear down the idols. Now these idols, mind you, people for decades have been reverencing them, have been worshiping them. And it's grown men, you understand, that were in charge of the upkeep of these idols. So Josiah, it took for him to have a certain tenacity, a testicular fortitude as the king, you understand, to start this process of reformation. You understand? He had to be a gangster, for lack of better words, right? That wasn't a light thing for him to do this. Read on.
And he burnt the bones of the priests upon their altars and cleansed Judah and Jerusalem.
So it said he burnt the priests upon the altars. He burnt the bones of the priests upon their altars and cleansed Judah and Jerusalem. Hold that. Go to 1 Kings 13 and verse 1. So what we just read was a fulfillment of prophecy. All right? Now, why would he burn? Well, let's just read this first. 1 Kings 13 and 1.
1 Kings 13 verse 1.
Come on.
And behold, there came a man of God out of Judah by the word of the Lord unto Bethel. And Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense. And he cried against the altar in the word of the Lord and said, O altar, altar, thus saith the Lord, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David.
There's going to be a child born to the house of David. Go ahead.
Josiah by name.
Whoa. So this is 1 Kings 13. This is a long time ago. Many generations. This was during the time of Jeroboam and Rehoboam, when the kingdom first split. And Judah still had a third king after David and Solomon, Rehoboam. So this was a long time ago when a prophet prophesied Josiah by name. Just like Isaiah prophesied Cyrus, the king of Persia, by name, damn near 200 years before his existence. That's real prophecy. I know we be saying prophet. We use that term prophet as anybody that, study the word of God and teach it. But true prophecy, like the actual level of prophecy, is being able to foretell unseen events. You understand? And that's what was really going on during this time. You had prophets prophesying brothers by name 200, 300 years before they existed. You understand? But it's going to come a king. Check. Josiah by name, read.
And upon thee shall he offer the priest
And upon thee, meaning this altar, shall he offer the priest. Go ahead.
of the high places that burn incense upon thee.
Uh-huh.
And men's bones shall be burnt upon thee.
So men's bones will be burnt upon this altar. So what we just read in Chronicles 34 verse 5 was a fulfillment of this. Right now, watch this. Go to Numbers 35 real quick. Why would he have to offer the bones of the priests? So he dug up the bones of the priests and burned them on the altar. Numbers 35, read verse 10.
Numbers 35 verse 10. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when ye be come over Jordan into the land of Canaan.
Hold on, wait. Verse 10. What verse is it? Verse 33. Verse 33.
Verse 33.
Mm-hmm.
So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land.
Read.
And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein.
It says the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein. Go ahead.
But by the blood of him that shed it.
So now, the idolatrous priest, right? Now, mind you, they bones, it's not blood no more, but the point is, these priests, what they did was they partook in the worship of Baal and Molech. A part of that worship was the sacrifice of children. So they shed innocent blood. That was the inexcusable sin of Manasseh, which brought forth ultimately the captivity of Babylon, right? And the Lord said, I can't pardon that. So the priests that did these things, the only way that the land could truly be cleansed is if they carcasses, you understand, they bones was burned, was completely desecrated out of the land. You understand? So that's why Josiah did what he did. And a prophet, a prophet hundreds of years prior to him prophesied that would happen. So now go back to Chronicles 34, 2 Chronicles 34, and read verse 6.
2 Chronicles 34 verse 6. And so did he in the cities of Manasseh and Ephraim and Simeon, even unto Naphtali, with their mattocks round about. And when he had broken down the altars and the groves, and had beaten the graves images into powder, and cut down all the idols throughout all the land of Israel, he returned to Jerusalem.
Now, you see and notice he went to northern kingdom lands. Now, the northern kingdom wasn't there because Assyria had taken them captive, right? But he went to these areas where the idols and stuff was set up, and he went and destroyed where they had all these different idols set up, all right? And then it said he returned to Jerusalem. Now watch this. Go to Maccabees real quick. Maccabees 13:47. Just to get an example, another example in history dealing with the cleansing of a land. 1 Maccabees 13:47.
1 Maccabees 13 verse 47. So Simon was appeased towards them, and fought no more against them, but put them out of the city, and cleansed the houses wherein the idols were, and so entered into it with songs and thanksgiving.
Come on.
Yea, he put all uncleanness out of it.
Right, and the uncleanness is referring to the idols. Go ahead.
And placed such men there as would keep the law.
And place such men there as would keep the law. This is reform. All right? This is what our forefathers did. Go ahead.
And made it stronger than it was before, and built therein a dwelling place for himself.
So Simon was very similar in his actions as Josiah, right? He purged the land from the idols and replaced the idolaters with those that would keep the law, and even made a dwelling place for himself there. All right, so he cleansed the land. Go back to Chronicles 34 verse 8.
2 Chronicles chapter 34 and verse 8.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the 18th year of his reign.
So now this is when he's 26. So this is 6 years after he began the reform process. Because doing all that demolition, all them idols, all them different locations, that don't happen overnight. This was over a process of time. And remember, Jeremiah was prophesying at this time as well. All right? So now we get to the 18th year of his reign. Read.
When he had purged the land and the house, he sent Shaphan, the son of Azaliah, and Messiah, the governor of the city, and Joah, the son of Joahaz, the recorder, to repair the house of the Lord his God.
Right. So now he's on a mission to repair the house of the Lord. He didn't tore down most of the idols and stuff like that. So now let's get started on repairing the house of the Lord, in which my father, my grandfather, set up idols and things of that nature within the house of the Lord. Go ahead.
And when they came to Hilkiah the priest, they delivered the money that was brought into the house of God, which the Levites that kept the doors had gathered of the hand of Manasseh and Ephraim, and of all the remnant of Israel, and of all Judah and Benjamin, and they returned to Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
And they put it in the hand of the workmen that had the oversight of the house of the Lord. And they gave it to the workmen that wrought in the house of the Lord to repair and mend the house.
Right. So they raised funds, right? A fundraiser or a collection of alms from the different tribes. And they gave the money to men that was able to repair the house of the Lord, right? Basically, Israelite contractors. Go ahead.
Even to the artificers and builders gave they it to buy hewn stone and timber for couplings, and to floor the houses which the kings of Judah had destroyed.
Right, so the artificers and builders are craftsmen, right? So that would be architects, designers, men who knew how to craft and shape different, the stone and all of that into designs, right? Into something desirable to see. And the builders were the laborers, right? The men that put their hands to the work. So these men were hired to repair the house of the Lord. Come on. Verse 12.
Verse 12. And the men did the work faithfully, and the overseers of them were Jahath and Obadiah, the Levites of the son of Merari, and Shechariah and Meshullam of the sons of the Kohathites, to set it forward, and other of the Levites, all that could skill of instruments of music.
Go ahead.
Also, they were over the bearers of burdens, and were overseers of all that wrought the work in any manner of office. And of the Levites there were scribes and officers and porters.
All right. So it's a lot within them two verses, but I don't really got time to dig into that. But it said the men did the work faithfully, right? And the bearers of burdens, things of that nature. All that stuff is like we read in Romans 15 and 4, like we read every morning. The things written aforetime was written for our learning, right? In any mission to this magnitude, to the literal reconstruction, right, of the destruction of our people, requires men that are faithful in the work and are willing to bear those burdens. A lot of brothers in these different schools, they, after a while, and this is a part of the battle fatigue that Bishop Nathaniel goes over a lot, brothers feel because they might be in that core group that's more dedicated than others when it comes to doing the work and putting in bricks and stuff at the school, they will allow themselves to start to feel overwhelmed, and they looking at other men that share the ranks like, well, they not doing as much as me, but And then they start to grow a bitterness toward the leadership. And really, that's an honor. You understand? It's an honor to be somebody that's more involved in the labor of the reconstruction of your people. You understand the bricks that's required for this mission. That's an honor. You understand? That's something that you put your head down, because you know you reaping a reward in the kingdom. To hell with a rank test, a promotion, an accolade that you get from leadership. And guess what? If you remain faithful, the Lord gonna put the spirit on the leaders to see that and acknowledge you for that. You understand? But because it ain't happening according to your time and you ain't getting a pat on the back every day, and you just, every day, every week, I'm the one at the fundraiser. I'm the one at the school for IT. I'm the one at security. I'm the one where these other brothers at. So what? Bear the burden. Do the work faithfully. And you're going to reap your reward. Our forefathers, they did this, and they was in the spirit, because it wasn't about them. They knew what it took to rebuild the nation of Israel, to reconstruct what our previous forefathers had damn ruined. You understand? That's what it's about. The restoration of the decayed state of our people. Get out your feelings and do the damn work. All right? All right. Nehemiah 4:6. It's a precept. Man, I got so much stuff I'm not going to get through. All praises. Shout out to, it is what it is. Read what you got.
Nehemiah chapter 4, verse 6.
Come on.
So built we the wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof. For the people had a mind to work.
They did not have a mind to complain. They did not have a mind to compete. They had a mind to work. They mindset was, it's a lot of work to be done. At this time when we reading in Nehemiah, this is just a precept to expound on the men did the work faithfully. But in the context of Nehemiah, the Babylonians had destroyed our walls. You understand? The walls that surrounded Jerusalem. So the king of Persia allowed us to go back. We looking at the walls, it's damn just rubble. You understand? So we talking about walls that surround a whole city. The men looking at the walls, they like, it's work to do. You understand? Excuse me, it's work to do. It's time to put our hands to the plow, put our minds and hands together, and get the work done. That's the mindset that we need to acquire in these days. We need to take a page out of their book, literally. You understand? It's way too much work to be done. The Lord said, go and preach the gospel to every creature. You understand? All our people scattered throughout the whole earth. That's a lot of damn work. Little sanctuaries in all the places that we were scattered. Y'all know where all we scattered? All over the earth. So we need to have a mind to work, not to complain and to compete. All right? So, 2 Chronicles 34, verse 14.
2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 14.
Come on.
And when they brought out the money that was brought into the house of the Lord, Hilkiah the priest found a book of the law of the Lord given by Moses.
So while they was repairing the house of the Lord, a brother found an ancient book, right? An old book. Probably had some dust on it. And this didn't happen to me before. We was, a brother had bought a house that was, needed a whole lot of work and stuff like that. And, it was a person that lived in it before him that left a whole lot of stuff. And we found an old Bible. It was written in Old English. It was real thick, and it had different, and I still got it at the house. It had different, like in between the books of the Bible, it was like supplemental information and things of that nature. It was, it was a good old book, a good old Bible. All right. So I'm just saying that to put it into perspective. As they going into the temple to repair it, they finding stuff that has not been opened for many, many years. Right? Go ahead.
And Hilkiah answered and said to Shaphan, the scribe, I have found the book of the law in the house of the Lord. And Hilkiah delivered the book to Shaphan. And Shaphan carried the book to the king and brought the king word back again, saying, all that was committed to thy servants, they do it. Mm-hmm. And they have gathered together the money that was found in the house of the Lord, and have delivered it into the hand of the overseers and to the hand of the workmen. Mm-hmm. Then Shaphan the scribe told the king, saying, Hilkiah the priest had given me a book. Read. And Shaphan read it before the king.
Right. So Hilkiah, when he found the book, he went and told Shaphan. He like, hey, this book says such and such, such and such. Shaphan was like, word? Okay. So then Shaphan is fun. He go to the king. He like, hey, repair the temple. Hilkiah found this right here. I think you should hear this. The king said, all right, give it to me. Read.
And it came to pass when the king had heard the word of the law.
So when a brother brought this out, go ahead.
That he rent his clothes.
Wait a minute. So you would think, brother fine. Mind you, Josiah is seeking the Lord his God. He reforming the land. He purging out the idols. A brother find an ancient book of the law. You think, that's going to turn Josiah up. It said he rent his clothes, meaning he broke down. So what was it that the brother read? Let's go to Who's Who in the Bible. Page 243. All right, this is dealing with Josiah. All right, 16th king of Judah after the monarchy split. He reigned 640 to 609 BC. Josiah was the son of King Amon of Judah and of Jedediah, daughter of Adiah of Bozkath. He was 8 years old when he succeeded his father on the throne. In the 18th year of Josiah's reign, the high priest Hilkiah showed Shaphan, the royal scribe, a book of the law, which he had discovered in the temple during the renovations ordered by the king. It was probably an early version of the book of Deuteronomy. What's in the book of Deuteronomy, y'all? The curses! All right? So it says, Shaphan read the sacred work to his royal master, who was filled with consternation at finding how far the religious practices of his time had strayed from God's commandments. Give me the consternation. It said Josiah was filled with consternation. What is that? Put that on the screen for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I put it in the IT group. But yeah. All right, put that on the screen. Consternation. So it says feelings of anxiety or dismay, typically as something unexpected. So when a brother read Deuteronomy 28 to Josiah, it caught him off guard. Mind you, this is Josiah. This is in the 18th year of his reign. He started seeking the Lord in the 8th year of his reign. So Josiah been seeking the Lord for 8 years and never came across Deuteronomy 28. Damn. I'm telling you, that's heavy, because we be on the street and a lot of these Christians, they done been to seminary school. They've been in Bible study every week their whole life. And they know about the Exodus and then let Moses let my people go and all of that. But they never knew that slave ships was in the Bible. That the yokes of iron is in the Bible. You understand? They never heard the curses. That's why they never connected the dots that we the Israelites, right? So I'm not saying that Josiah didn't, obviously he knew he was Israelite, but in 8 years of his seeking the Lord, he was not familiarized with the curses in Deuteronomy. That just showed the level of consciousness, or really the unconsciousness, that we had attained to through generations of idolatry. You understand? We had no awareness of Deuteronomy 28. That's why we got to teach that thing. We got to always bring that out. All right? So when I was going to go through some precepts in Deuteronomy 28 just to give you an idea of what Josiah was hearing, you understand? But, time ain't on our side. But y'all name, scripture say captivity, yokes of iron. You underserving your enemies. They gonna besiege thee in all thy gates. This is all what Josiah is hearing. So that's why he rent his clothes. He was shook. All right. Did I just exit out of my? The hell is this? Okay. So from there, go back to Chronicles. Chronicles 34, read verse 20.
2 Chronicles 34, verse 20. And the king commanded Hilkiah and Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, and Abdon, the son of Mira, and Shaphan the scribe, and Asaiah, a servant of the king, saying, Go inquire of the Lord for me, and for them that are left in Israel and in Judah, concerning the words of the book that is found. For great is the wrath of the Lord that is poured out upon us, because our fathers have not kept the word of the Lord to do after all that is written in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And Hilkiah and they that the king had appointed went to Huldah, the prophetess, the wife of Shallum, the son of Tekoeth, the son of Hasrah, keeper of the wardrobe. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college, and they spake to her to that effect.
All right. So Josiah was like, hey, go to somebody who can expound on this we read so we can know where we at in time. Because it's saying if we do what the hell we've been doing, right, with my father and his father, if we in the midst of that, then we going to incur all of this. So go and seek somebody out who can give us a real-time update in terms of where we fall into this, right? So they took the book to a sister named Huldah, the prophetess, right? And she was the wife of a mighty man. Now, Huldah the prophet, I ain't really got time to go into it. But, like I check, we often associate that word prophet with, a leader, a mighty man in the truth, so on and so forth. But there's a context of the ability to foretell unseen events. So, yes, the Lord, just like the Lord used a damn donkey in the book of Numbers, he used a heathen. You understand? He can put the spirit on women to foresee unseen events. So this is, Huldah had this gift, all right? She had the ability to foresee. That's why they went to the sister. So it says she dwelt in the college. Give me that Bible Hub real quick. So I done went over this in classes before. This is something that just early on in my early years of study coming across this always intrigued me. Now, scholars gonna say, for the most part, that just mean a second quarter, just an area within Jerusalem. All right, but college. Go give me the Benson. I mean, not the Benson, the Gills. Gills. Scroll down. Yep. All right. So this is Gill's exposition of the entire Bible. Scroll down real quick. All right. Scroll down. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem. Scroll down a little bit more. Now she dwelt in Jerusalem in the college of the prophets, in the house of instruction, as the Targum, the school where the young prophets were instructed and trained up. So some of the scholars knew that it wasn't just the area, right? It was called the college because that's where the young prophets went to learn. All right. Now give me the Geneva. Scroll down. Scroll down. All right. So G is expounding on that college. Or the house of doctrine, which was near the temple, and where the learned assembled to search the scriptures and the doctrine of the prophets. What's heavy about this is you going to the school on the Sabbath, brothers going to the school to listen to classes and take notes. It's nothing new under the sun. Do you understand? We always had schools to train up the young men in the scriptures. All right? And this sister dwelt there. So it wasn't just men either. All right? So let's go now. I was going to go through the precepts about the sons of the prophets and all of that. I just quote them 1 Samuel 10 and 5. That was during Samuel's time. 2 Kings 2 and 3 during Elijah's time. 2 Kings 9 and 1 during Elisha's time. Those were the pillars, basically the principals, the leaders that oversaw the sons or the schools of the prophets during their respective times. All right? Now go to 2 Kings 23 and 2. Well, we're going to get there eventually. The point is that she was among this group. All right? So go back to 2 Chronicles 34, verse 23. Come on.
2 Chronicles 34 and verse 23.
Come on.
And she answered them, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, Tell ye the men that sent you to me. Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I will bring evil upon this place and upon the inhabitants thereof. Even all the curses that
Even all the what?
Even all the curses.
All the what?
All the curses that are written in the book, which they have read before the king of Judah.
So we're showing you what book they found. Deuteronomy 28. And the man's going to the Lord. You understand? It wasn't by coincidence he stumbled upon that particular book and chapter. All right? So he read it. He brought it. It sparked his attention. He brought it to the king. The king like, oh, you understand? They brought it to the prophetess. She like, yeah, these curses gonna come to pass on y'all. Go ahead.
Because
on us, read.
They have forsaken me and have burned incense unto other gods, that they might provoke me to anger with all the works of their hands. Therefore my wrath shall be poured out upon this place and shall not be quenched.
And guess what? This wasn't a new revelation. Micah prophesied this concerning Jerusalem as well. Go to Micah 3 verse 9. Now this was hundreds of years before. All right? Well, not hundreds.
Micah chapter 3 and verse 9.
Hold on, let me get there.
Oh, yes, sir.
Come on. 7 seconds. All right. So this was about a couple generations, right? About 70 to 80 years, basically before Manasseh, right? Well, Micah prophesied this. Read Micah 3 verse 9.
Micah chapter 3 and verse 9.
Come on.
Hear this, I pray you, ye heads of the house of Jacob,
Read.
and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. They build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity.
So remember what we read in the beginning of the class in Zephaniah 3 concerning the estate of the princes, the judges, the priests, and the prophets, right? That's what they was in the midst of, filling up Zion with blood and with iniquity. Read. Come on.
The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire.
Come on.
And the prophets thereof divine for money.
Read.
Yet would they lean upon the Lord and say, Is not the Lord among us? None evil can come upon us.
That's how you know it's no new thing under the sun. These same spirits doing the same damn thing. This was occurring during the time of Micah, during the time of Josiah, during the time of Christ, right now to this day. All right? Read verse 12.
Verse 12, therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountain of the house as the high places of the forest.
So Micah had already prophesied that this had not come to pass yet. You understand? So Micah had already prophesied that the Lord was going to judge Jerusalem for the evil of the leaders. And guess what? Manasseh and Amon came and went stupid with it. So you know it was going to come, right? So go back to Chronicles, verse 26 now.
2 Chronicles chapter 34, verse 26.
Go ahead.
And as for the king of Judah, who sent you to inquire of the Lord, so shall ye say unto him, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, concerning the words which thou hast heard. Because thine heart was tender, and thou didst humble thyself before God, when thou heardest his words against this place, and against the inhabitants thereof, and humblest thyself before me, and didst rend thy clothes, and weep before me. I have even heard thee also, saith the Lord. Behold, I will gather thee to thy fathers, and thou shalt be gathered to thy grave in peace. Neither shall thine eyes see all the evil that I will bring upon this place, and upon the inhabitants of the same.
So basically the sister let Josiah know in the spirit of the Lord, hey, because you humbled yourself and you started this reform, you did all these good works to purge the evil out of the land, you not going to see the curses come to pass on Jerusalem. They going to come to pass, but not during your time. You're going to go to your grave in peace. That's why 609 BC, when Josiah got shot, we going to cover that, Lord's willing, next time. All hell started to break loose. All right? So, damn. Okay. So read 2 Kings 23:1. So I got to skip over a lot of stuff. A lot of the stuff I touched on last time, but when I was bringing it out, it wasn't, of course, in a timeline dealing with Josiah. I was just showing all the evil that was done during the time of Manasseh and Amon that Josiah had to do away with. So I was going to touch back on that stuff, but I ain't got time. But read 2 Kings 23:1.
2 Kings 23, verse 1. And the king sent, and they gathered unto him all the elders of Judah and of Jerusalem. And the king went up into the house of the Lord, and all the men of Judah and all the inhabitants of Jerusalem with him, and the priests and the prophets.
And the prophets going into the company assembled in the college, right? Among, like Huldah and the other brothers, Jeremiah, Zephaniah. Go ahead.
And all the people, both small and great. And he read in their ears all the words of the book of the covenant which was found in the house of the Lord.
So he brought out the curses. Go ahead.
And the king stood by a pillar and made a covenant before the Lord to walk after the Lord and to keep his commandments and his testimonies and his statutes with all his heart and all their soul, to perform the words of his covenant that were written in this book. And all the people stood to the covenant.
Right. So basically, it ain't saying that he made a new covenant, right? Like another testament. But like when you read in Joshua, we was going to go through the precepts, but we ain't got time. You read about it in Joshua. You read about it in 2 Kings 11 with Jehoiada. Basically, like, look, it was always a part of Reformation. Like, we had all this evil going on, but this is what we going to do now. Joshua, after that wicked generation in the wilderness, with that new generation that came up, he made a covenant with them. Hey, we going to keep the commandments of the Lord. Jehoiada, after the time of Athaliah, the daughter of damn Jezebel, had slithered her way into taking over Judah. When they put her to death, they said he made a covenant with the people. He said, hey, look, we going to keep the commandments of the Lord. All right, so that's what Josiah is doing. He heard the curses. He like, man, look, hey, we gonna keep the commandments of the Lord. All right, now jump down to verse 8. It was a lot of stuff I was gonna touch back on, but it is what it is. Read verse 8.
Verse 8. And he brought all the priests out of the cities of Judah and defiled the high places where the priests had burnt incense, from Gibeah to Beersheba, and break down the high places of the gates that were in the entering in of the gate of Joshua, the governor of the city, which were on a man's left hand and at the gate of the city.
Come on, man. Come on.
Verse 9. Nevertheless, the priests of the high places came not up to the altar of the Lord in Jerusalem, but they did eat of the unleavened bread among their brethren.
All right, so real quick, in Leviticus 21. So the show was going on right here, right? In Judah, these is Levites, these is brothers that's supposed to be priests, but they went off, right? They defiled. They was, partaking in the paganism. So Josiah basically, in his mercy, he didn't kill them because they was Levites, but he did not allow them to continue offering. You understand? He didn't convert them over to be able to offer up the sacrifices to the Lord, but he allowed them to eat the unleavened bread. Basically, he reduced them to the level in which we about to read, which would be a Levite that was born with a defect. All right, Leviticus 21:21. Come on. Leviticus 21:21.
Leviticus 21:21. No man that hath a blemish of the seed of Aaron the priest shall come nigh to offer the offerings of the Lord made by fire.
So you can't come and offer the offerings. Go ahead.
He hath a blemish.
Read.
He shall not come nigh to offer the bread of his God.
Come on.
He shall eat the bread of his God.
But he can eat the bread of his God, going into that unleavened bread. Go ahead.
Both of the most holy and of the holy.
So go back to Kings. Read verse 10 now.
2 Kings 23 and verse 10. And he defiled Topeth, which is in the valley of the children of Hanam, that no man might make his son or his daughter to pass through the fire to Molech. And he took away the horses that the king...
So that was going into Jeremiah 7:31. Tophet, that's the place where they sacrifice their sons and daughters. I did want to touch on verse 11 about the horses. Basically, read it real quick.
Verse 11, and he took away the horses that the kings of Judah had given to the sun at the entering in of the house of the Lord by the chamber of Nethamelech, the chamberlain, which was in the suburbs, and burnt the chariots of the sun with fire.
All right, so he took away the horses that the kings given to the sun. Give me the commentary real quick, just to show you just some of the weird stuff we was doing. All right. I want the Benson commentary. You go scroll up. Oh, there you go. All right, so it's saying he took away, that is, consecrated the horses that the kings of Judah had given to the sun, that is, had consecrated to the sun. It appears by the testimony of many authors that among several nations, horses were dedicated to the sun as hawks and some other creatures were, because of the swiftness of their motions. Thus the ancient Persians consecrated white horses and chariots to the sun, as Xenophon testifies, and with them were wont to adorn their processions. Meaning, basically, we learn this from the heathens. All right? And it's another one. Damn, where is it? Scroll up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, give me the pulpit commentary. I'm gonna just read this sentence real quick. It say that the idea of the sun god as a charioteer who drove his horses daily across the sky is one common to several of the Aryan nations, as the Greeks, Romans, Hindus, and others. All right. So basically, because the sun was swift or whatever, they would have these chariots and these horses, and they would carry out the kings and stuff when the sun would come up in the morning to worship the sun. It was all in. I ain't really got time to go into. Go back to Kings. Go back to Kings. Jump down to verse 18.
Verse 18.
And I gotta. Damn. All right, come on.
And he said, let him alone. Let no man move his bones. So they let his bones alone, with the bones of the prophet that came out of Samaria.
So this prophet was the one that we read in 1 Kings 13 earlier that prophesied Josiah by name. All right, when he died, he was buried. That's the bones of the prophet that he making reference to. He was like, don't touch his bones. Go ahead.
And all the houses also of the high places that were in the cities of Samaria, which the kings of Israel had
Come
made.
down to verse 20.
Verse 20. And he slew all the priests of the high places that were there upon the altars, and burnt men's bones upon them, and returned to Jerusalem.
Right. So these priests that were not in Jerusalem, they were not Levites. So they did not get the mercy of, all right, you're not offering the sacrifices no more, but you can still eat the bread. They got put to death. All right. When you read Numbers 16 and 40, it tells you if you not a Levite, if you're not of the seed of Aaron, and you try to be a priest, that's worthy of death anyway. But let alone them being idolatrous priests. So Josiah slew them. All right. And just to end it, I'll go to Psalms 101 and 3. So it's a lot of more scriptures and precepts I wanted to touch on, but for the sake of time, got to give it over to Daily Bread. This just showing the spirit that King Josiah was rolling in, all right, in his reform. He not only had to destroy all the idols and things of that nature, he had to put wicked Negroes to death. He had to dig up bones and burn them. You understand? Read what you got. Psalms 101 and 3.
Psalms chapter 101 and verse 3.
Come on.
I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me.
Read.
A froward heart shall depart from me. I will not know a wicked person. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will not I suffer.
Come on.
Mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me.
Come on.
He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight.
Watch this.
I will early destroy all the wicked of the land.
I will do what?
Is that? I will early destroy all the wicked of the land.
Come on.
That I may cut off all wicked doers from the cities of the Lord.
That's what King Josiah did. That's what he had to do to reform the kingdom of Judah. All right? He had to cut out all the idolatry and the idolaters. You understand? It was a bloody path to redemption. For real, for real. All right? And the things written for a time, written for our learning. That we got to swing the sword spiritually. We got to cast down imagination. We got to bring every thought to the obedience of Christ. You know what I'm saying? We got to have that same spirit and aggression just with the word of God. You know, minus the physical force. All right? But all praise to the Most High. Lord's willing, y'all was able to get some out of that. We had to skip over a lot of stuff due to, you know, a person, alarms clock not working or whatever. But it is what it is. All praise to the Most High God. Tune in to Daily Bread. Subscribe to IUIC Arkansas. Shalom, Most High Christ bless.
I feel like I'm Moses. Ay, feel like a dream, taking our spot. We could be kings. All praises I'm able to run with my team. His spirit it runs through my blood and my genes. Runs through my genes. Ay, teaching my people to move from the evil. They claiming I'm crazy. Dust off my feet and head back to the streets. Continue to